Okay, so you're going about your day totally normal. The world is doing its thing. And then it doesn't. Forget a slowdown. It's like a switch flipped. We're talking a hard stop. One moment there's a gentle spin, the next, nothing. The Earth just stops rotating. For a whole day. We're not going to get into the how. That part is impossible. Some unknown cosmic force just hits the brakes. But the what happens next? That's where our world ends, and something else begins. The first thing you notice is the weirdest kind of vertigo. Your brain is wired for a spinning planet, and when that spin vanishes, your internal compass just throws an error. People stumble. Animals panic. But that's just the static in your head. Look outside. The sun. Or the moon. They're frozen. If it was morning where you are, it's now permanent morning. If it was night, it's an endless, star-fixed midnight. Time as we feel it just died. Then the hammer drops. The planet stopped. The atmosphere didn't. Keeps moving eastward at over 1,000 miles an hour near the equator. Imagine that force hitting a stationary surface. It's not wind. It's a solid wall of air. A single, global, supersonic shockwave that scours the surface of the Earth cleaner than any bomb. Forests are flattened. Cities are swept into the sky. Oceans are lifted and dumped inland as planet-covering tsunamis. The first hour isn't a disaster. It's a reset button for surface life. The scale of loss it's beyond counting. If you somehow survived, maybe deep in a mountain range or in a subterranean bunker, you emerge into a new planet with new, brutal rules. The temperature splits the world in two. The day side, under the unmoving sun, begins to bake. It's not instant, but it's relentless. Within hours, it's hotter than the hottest desert. Pavement melts. Exposed metal becomes untouchable, and any surface water starts to boil away into the thirsty sky. Life above ground becomes a fight against roasting alive. The night side is the mirror image hell, an infinite sunless freezer. Temperatures plunge at a terrifying rate. The very air begins to liquefy and fall as a bizarre, deadly snow. Anything left there is flash frozen in an instant, silent geological exhibit. So, the survivors, what's left of them, become two desperate, migrating tribes, the burners and the freezers, and they're both crawling towards the same terrible hope, the twilight strip, that razor-thin line between the killing heat and the killing cold. But here's the cruel twist. It's not a sanctuary. It's a battleground. That insane temperature difference between the two hemispheres creates a permanent, monstrous storm system right along that line. So the strip isn't just the only place with bearable temperatures. It's also lashed by eternal, hurricane-force winds roaring from the hot side to the cold side. There's no calm. There's only varying degrees of how hard the wind is trying to flay you alive. So humanity's last stand isn't on a sunny beach. It's in the lee of cliffs at the bottom of deep canyons or, most importantly, underground. Subway tunnels, caves, mines. These become the most valuable real estate in history. We become a species of burrowers, living in the perpetual, howling dusk, only venturing out in heavily armored suits to scavenge. The social structure? It's not about nations anymore. It's about your cave system, your access to a deep aquifer, your stockpile of pre-stop food. It's a brutal, localized feudalism defined by geology. We'd adapt in horrifying ways. Agriculture is all hydroponic, deep underground, under artificial light. Power might come from thermal gradients, the searing heat a few miles into the dayside, or the deep cold of the night side, driving crazy geothermal or thermodynamic engines. Our entire concept of a day is gone. Time is measured in shifts in resource consumption, in the lifespan of a filter. But let's play out the full thought. After 24 hours, the force that stopped us lets go. the Earth starts spinning again. This isn't a salvation. It's the second apocalypse. The same cataclysmic winds, but in reverse, scour the scarred landscape all over again. The traumatized oceans slosh back, creating new tsunamis. Any fragile communities clinging to the surface in that storm-lashed strip are wiped off the map. It's a double-tap extinction event. And if anything does survive this second round of planetary violence, the world it inherits is dead, gutted. The atmosphere is torn and thin. The oceans are toxic soups of stirred-up sediment and dead life. The land is a global desert, scarred by wind and fire. The geological stress of stopping and starting has likely triggered volcanoes on a continent-spanning scale, filling the sky with ash, blotting out the very sun we just got back. The climate is broken. The recovery, if it happens at all, would take millions of years. We're not getting back to Wednesday. We're getting a tombstone planet. So what's the lesson? Buried under all this ruin? The fragility of our normal. We think of the ground as solid, the sky as predictable. We build civilizations on routines of light and dark. But all of it, every single bit, is a side effect of a simple, elegant spin. Our entire reality is a temporary condition on a moving rock. We're not the drivers. We're just along for the ride, and we never even felt the motion until it was gone. The final winners, after the dust settles? Not us. Maybe the microbes miles underground, or the creatures in the deepest ocean trenches, insulated from the madness above. Human civilization, as we know it, is a flash in the pan, snuffed out by a single skipped beat in our planet's rhythm. It makes you look at a sunset differently, doesn't it? That slow dip below the horizon isn't just pretty. It's proof the machine is still running. So, down in the comments, I've got to ask, if you woke up in that frozen dawn or that endless noon, and you knew the spin was gone, what's the one ordinary piece of that lost world you'd cling to? The concept of tomorrow? The feeling of a cool evening breeze? What's the first ghost of your old life you'd mourn?